Hey YouTube, I'm Chris. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Welcome to my channel. For some of you that might be finding this for the first time, I have a couple of other how-to videos. I did a YouTube how-to video not too long ago on my 2011 Harley Sportster, which is hanging out over there. Maybe I might do some motor vlogging on it if I'm lucky enough. I have to find a camera or camera mount that's going to work with it. But anyway, for today, this is a how-to video on how to replace these bulbs on these dials with LED bulbs. And so we're going to try it out, see if they work, see if they fit. And so first of all, this is a 2005 Honda Civic. It's the EX Special Edition. It's my wife's car. And this is a little different from what I've seen in other videos, where I had to pry off this whole center panel first. It just pulls off. It's not too difficult to pull off. I'll just kind of lay that there. And then I had to remove this screw and that screw in order to get this whole thing here to try to pry out from the dash. It took a little bit of work and a flat bladed screwdriver, but I was able to get it pried out of there. I did accidentally crack it one pretty good, but as long as it's kind of held together, it's not all that noticeable. So that does pry out of there. It takes some work. It does pry out. And then we have the power for the cigarette lighter thing. And we're going to go ahead and unplug that. And then after we unplug it, which I really can't do very well with just one hand, because I can't really see. There we go, and I got it off. Can't really see very well what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and pull that all out of the way and close that. This is one of those special cup holder cover things. You don't see that very often. So we got the power cable unplugged. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see really well, but there is a screw there and another screw right there. You have to remove both of those, which hold the stereo in place, and then we can go ahead and pry off this whole outer shell and kind of pry the whole thing all out and kind of get access to these bulbs. So it's not real bad or painful. It does take a little while. So I need to go find myself a little Phillips screwdriver, or maybe even a nut driver, and see if we can get those two screws out. And let me set this back up. I'll be right back in a second. Alright, that was quick. I was back real fast. What I ended up doing is I got this little ratchet. That's the metric, size 8 metric. And so I'm going to use this with a short, tiny little extension to loosen up these screws and get them out of there. And then from there we can pry out the rest of it. So I thought while I'm taking the screws out, I can maybe talk a little bit about why I'm on YouTube, discuss a little bit about my YouTube channel. And so I first signed up on YouTube back in March of 2007, and at that time I signed up for YouTube not to make videos. I signed up initially just for all the music that I could come across and find, and I sure wasn't disappointed in that. There was loads and loads of music and all kinds of other cool stuff that I would find and listen to and find really useful and really enjoy, and all of those kinds of things. But at the same time, or maybe shortly after, there was a pretty big push from YouTube back then, as I'm sure some of you might remember, about hey, sign up on YouTube and become a partnership and start making some money. And my thinking was back then was, well, there's one screw. So my thinking about that at the time was, well, that's fine and dandy. That would be pretty cool, but I don't have any money for the equipment, you know, and that's for one thing. I don't have the money for the equipment. You know, camera back then was pretty expensive. And then, as well as a microphone, I thought I needed a microphone, or very minimum at least a half decent camera. And I thought, well, cameras are very expensive. I was guesstimating at least $300 to $500 or better, you know, for a camera. And I thought, I'm just not gonna have that kind of money. And pretty expensive. And then number two, I wouldn't know what to put on there. I wouldn't know what to put on my channel if I was to create one. So there's that second screw. So now it's going to be just a matter of kind of prying out this little centerpiece without gouging up too many things, making gouges in the plastic and all of that kind of stuff. So I've got to be careful best as I can not to damage it too bad, if I can at all, if I can at least help it. But anyway, so, you know, my thinking was, you know, I wouldn't know what to put on my channel. So I just let it sit, and I was just enjoying all the videos and music and videos and songs and all of that stuff that I can watch. And you're gonna maybe see my cat Scamp here at some point, which, by the way, I probably need to take off these little knobs just in case. I don't think I need to, but just in case, it's gonna make it a bit easier. I'll remove these. And so, you know, my thinking was I was enjoying all of that, all the music and songs and videos I was watching, and at the same time that was happening, it was still in the back of my mind for many years, all about, well, it would be pretty nice to, you know, make some videos and put them up there. Maybe people will enjoy them and I'll get some subscribers of my own, and, you know, maybe I can get on with that partnership thing that they talk about. And you know, maybe I could perhaps make a little bit of extra money on the side. I wouldn't figure I'd make much, but I thought a little bit would help. As far as let me whiten this out a little bit, because I worked all the way around. I got this whole thing, I think it's pretty loose. The whole thing's gonna come out of there, I think. At least I hope it didn't damage something else doing that. I never took this apart before. So, let's see. I got this, I thought I heard something clang or fall or drop or something. I don't know what that was. Hope I didn't lose something or damage anything. I don't see anything. I wouldn't guess. But I don't want to screw up anything either, but let me see. Let me take this off of here and I can show you a little bit better around it. So that's the back of the stereo. You see you can always take a vacuum or whatever, clean that stuff out. And that's the inside. I thought I heard something clang, but maybe it was nothing. I don't see anything obvious. And anyway, so here is the little module for the heating, air conditioning, and the connector for the stereo. And that's your antenna. I don't know, maybe I'll have to ask my wife if she wants to upgrade their stereo, but this is the original stereo from the factory. You can see it's April 2005, and it's a half decent stereo. It ain't a bad stereo, but it only takes CDs, and you got AM, FM, and you do have an input jack, so you can always put your phone up to it. So it ain't all bad, but you can always get something else. But meanwhile, I'll show you. I'll take this off. So so for the years, all through the years, I was having my channel. I had my account. So I took that off. See, I just unplugged that, and then I took this, just gave it a squeeze. It was in this connector down here. And I just took that off right there. So now what I can do, and not pull the wires too bad, I could make it a little easier. And maybe see if I can now, of course, the other hand, if I do take that off, it might screw up the radio memory too. So, but all I gotta do is just, remove this module piece off and get to the bulbs in it. And they're gonna be down inside there. So let's I'll put you back up on the tripod. The memory was, I think, that screw's gonna come off, that one, and then there's maybe one or two other ones. Maybe one or two other ones way down there in the corner. You can't see with my finger, but can't see with my finger, and everything's in the way. But there's a little, little screw there. I'm gonna take that off, and this whole thing will kind of pull off, and then we can dig into it and get to the bulbs. But try to see if I can try to keep it balanced like that. Let's see if I can take these, at least I hope I got the right screws out of here. So what I was saying before was all through the years I kept thinking about what would be pretty cool and neat to make my own videos, but without the equipment, at least with the camera, and even if I had one, what would I show? And so I would just kind of sat there doing nothing. And then, so finally, it got to be 2012. I got married to my current wife, Martha. This is her car. And got moved into her house. And that's where I'm at now. And then I got to be still working over the road as a semi-truck driver. And I was doing a semi-truck driving as a job for, for 18 and a half years. And so I didn't have a lot of time either going out there to dropping a screw. Didn't have a lot of time, as I'd be out for 4 or 5 weeks at a time, and then so when I got home, I wouldn't have a lot of time to make any videos either. But eventually, I think it was starting about spring of 2013, I finally decided, well, I'll go ahead and I'll buy a camera. At least I'll try to find one. I'll find a half decent, good, new one. And there you go. There's the whole console. I saw a little clip that came out. I wonder if I lost one. I may have lost a clip somewhere. At least I hope I didn't. But anyway, so I started looking around on, I don't remember, it might have been a couple of websites, and was looking for a, oh, you see right here, there's a bulb right there. So take a little screwdriver and put these see if they can get them out. I'm going to have to get a jeweler's screwdriver. So that's, I think it's unlocked. See that? Well, I guess I didn't show you before very well, but you just kind of take your screwdriver, you know, just kind of very carefully. You might have to use a smaller screwdriver, like a jeweler's screwdriver or something like that. You may have to just go ahead and just grab one. But you just kind of turn these to unlock it, and then they should, you know, kind of, hopefully kind of come on out of there. I'll just work with that for a little bit and see which one is what. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's one. And I may have to figure a way to make these little bulbs work. So I'd be 2013, started looking at some websites, looking at, you know, what's a good camera to use, and I came across my current camera that I'm using now. It's the Sony. I'm using a Sony. I can't see the model number on my camera right now, but it's the. I have to look at my camera later. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put the camera model number up on the screen or in the description. But anyway, so there's the other one out of there. So I found the current camera that I got, a Sony Handycam, and it came with a whole bundle of different things all with it, like a tripod and carrying case and charger and batteries and all of that kind of stuff for about a good $300 or $300 and something. So went ahead and I bought it, and since then I didn't use it right away. I was wanting to just kind of figure out how to make videos. I gotta also kind of get a knife or something to cut that all open with. So let me I need to go grab some scissors and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I got some scissors. I cut open the little package of little LED bulbs. I'll show you that in a minute. Meanwhile, I took the wire connector that was plugged in there, pulled that out, and then I also disconnected the plug for this little lower switch here, pulled this wire connector off of that, and then I removed, you can't see, I removed this screw that was in there, and the screw on the other side over here, and this whole thing pulls out for your AC and defrost and all of that. And it appears as though these have two bulbs in there as well. So I was also wanting to see if there's a way I can swap those out for LED. So I need to, I wanted to check more into doing that. Looks as though all of the clips are in there for the most part. I think one wants to come off. But it got to be now 2013. I figured, okay, I'll make some videos, and I had a camera, but then it was still the question of, well, what do I show? And I wasn't really ready to use a camera yet. So what I ended up doing, I thought was, I'm gonna see if I can take the little bulbs out of there. So I thought, well, the one thing I do, or I have a lot of, that I've been doing quite a bit of, is my music projects. I do an awful lot of music remixes. You know, there's songs that I really like, wish they were longer, so I'll go ahead and I will make some extended remix with my editing software I have for music. And so I had an awful lot of that, or quite a bit of it. And so I would, there wasn't really much in the way for actual video, though, that goes with those remix songs. So there's a little bulbs that went here. I'll see if there's some way I can swap those out for LED as well, some way. Have to see. Maybe have to be creative on that one. But anyways, I started putting up a lot of my music remixes that I was doing, and I just put up a picture, you know, like a still shot of something, some graphic picture. I didn't really have much to show. I wasn't real good on making an actual, you know, moving video, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll just work on that a little bit later. And so I put up these, you know, still pictures up. Wasn't very exciting, but it was all I had. And so I put up an awful lot of my music remixes up, and then of course that meant that because it's all copyrighted music, copyright infringement, copyright claims, I had more than a few, or at least more than a few copyright strikes on my music remixes, even though I figured, well, it's really benefiting them and not so much me. And so I had to delete those videos and had to kind of lay low for a while until the copyright strike kind of went away. And so I wouldn't, you know, really do anything until the copyright strike went away. And then when it finally did, and I thought, well, that kind of got me nervous about, well, when's the next one going to be coming up as being a copyright strike? You just never know. And so right now I'm trying to get this little wire, this little bulb. I've seen a video of it. It's probably need to watch it again and see how I can best try to get this little piece of wire out of there so I can get this little bulb out and see if I can swap it on over for an LED one. But anyway, so I'll wait around for, I don't know, a month or so, or whatever it would be, a couple of weeks, for the copyright strike to go away. And then I thought, well, okay, maybe I'm in the clear, I'll put up another one. And so, you know, some would make the copyright strike and some wouldn't. Especially I had a couple of remixes. One I did for Janet Jackson of a song I really liked a lot, and then there was another song I did with another remix I did with Prince, and sure enough, those earned me copyright strikes. So had to go on ahead and I had to go ahead and delete those and let the copyright strike go away on its own, and I was all good to go again. So I just kept on putting up my various remixes of music that I'd work on, and just trying to see how things would go, see if anything would get any traction in it. So by that time I figured, well, this is a music channel, because that's what it's mostly, it's what it is. That's all I have. That's kind of stuff I enjoy doing, that I like to do. I like to make little music remixes like that, share it, because, you know, and I'll enjoy it for a while, but I figured maybe somebody else would really like it. And so but then at the same time I knew it was a music channel, but that's not really what I ever wanted it to go. I never wanted it a strict music channel, because those don't seem to really have much to offer a lot of the times, or much longevity. I was able to take the probably little wires out of there. You can see, maybe you can't, you can't really tell. I was able to pry little wires around from that plastic base. It's kind of sort of a pain. I never done this ever before, so I'm now I can maybe work the little bulb out of there some way, if I can, without breaking it. But I was wanting to do a lot more than just music videos, and oh, there we go, I got it off, got it out of there. So now the trick is if the little LED replacement bulbs can have long leads like this or not. That's going to be the major issue, and see if I can get this thing to work. And I mean, there was many other things I wanted to do than just music remixes and music videos on my channel. But at the time when I had the camera, I thought, well, I'm still not really sure what it is I want to show, or what it is that people really want to see a lot of. And so I want to do more thinking about it. So I'm going to see if I can get that little tiny, get the little wires around from this little base, and see if I get enough wire for that little LED to fit with the other or not. That's going to be another interesting little thing to do. So, but I was wanting to do a lot more than just music stuff on my channel, but I wasn't really sure what that would be or what people would want to see, because I was I was looking for growth, and by that time on my music videos I would get some subscribers. I think the one video I did that finally got me subscribers, I could be wrong, was the Titty Pendergrass. I might be wrong, but it was a remix. It was like a 10-minute remix that I made. If I make a mistake, I'll try to post the correction on the screen. But it was I think it was a Titty Pendergrass 10-minute music remix, and I can't think of what it was called right now. I'll have to think about it. I should remember it. I should know. But anyways, well, that music remix song I did really took off, and as of still today, it's got well over 10,000 views on it, if I remember correctly. So I got that little LED out of there. You see the little wire lead. So I want to see if there's a way I can put it back in here. See if that will work. But again, I could be wrong in the views, but that Teddy Pendergrass remix video I did, I still wish I could think of what it was called. It's really embarrassing. I really should know what my own videos are named. But yeah, that's got like well over 10,000 views, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So I thought maybe, let's see if I can get these little tiny, teeny little wires and the little holes in the base of this plastic thing. There we go. I think I got it. It goes right through the little holes there. And I'm hoping that these LED bulbs are extra bright. It wouldn't do much good to not have it put out much light. And then what you do is you stick your little pieces of wire, and just kind of wrap it around the edge of it, around the little slots, best you can. You have to kind of push that light down almost as far as it's going to go inside there, so I got enough wire to wrap around the outside of the base through the tiny little slots. It's hard to see probably on the camera because I can't see what I'm doing either. Got my little viewfinders all, giving me a lot of, you probably can't see anything, but kind of see that little slot there. It's going to wrap around, go through the other slot. That's what I'm going to do, so it gives it power. I have to use my little screwdriver, and if I got enough luck to make this work, I'm gonna have to get some pliers probably. But yeah, so that Teddy Pendergrass song was like the highest view video on my channel that I had at the time. And I think some people are still watching it. I think it still gets some views. And so then I thought, okay, well, maybe this might work out. I wasn't sure. I thought I could just keep on keeping on. And so I put up other, music videos kind of like that, remixes of different songs that I really liked. And then I got to be where, kind of like the Teddy Pendergrass remix that I did. I thought, well, I got other disco. I don't have a lot anymore. I got rid of most of it years ago, but I still had some disco songs. I'm still trying to work that little piece of wire through that tiny little slot and make it try to stay in there. I don't have a lot of wire to work with. So I thought I'll go ahead and see what disco songs I do have, and because I did make some remixes of those and I want to put them up, but again I didn't really have any actual video, just pictures. That was kind of all I had. And for my video editing software, all I would have to use is the YouTube Music Maker. I mean, that's wrong. YouTube Movie Maker, I think that's what it's called. YouTube Movie Maker, I did spend some money all on it, and I'm sure a lot of you know what that is. It's a very, very beginning piece of software, but it worked for me, and I'm still today trying to figure out how that works. I mean, there's still a lot of different things within that software I'm still trying to figure out and learn and use. So I tend to make pretty simplistic videos. I don't have a lot of graphics or interesting effects or anything of that nature, as because I'm not really all that particularly creative on the video side. I'm more into being creative on the audio side. You know, that's kind of where my enjoyment kind of is at. I'm going to work the little piece of wire into that other slot. It kind of loops around, so it's going to make connection. At least I hope it will. So then, so I put up some videos of some of the disco stuff that I had, and those were kind of cool and popular, if I remember correctly. And so I started getting some more subscribers from there, and I really do truly appreciate every subscriber that I have. I may not seem like it, but I really truly do. It really means an awful lot to me when I get another new subscriber and they really enjoy the music that I'm putting out. And it really means a lot to me, and I count on every one, and I make sure I am really good on communicating with all of my subscribers as best as I can. You know, if anybody, you know, mentions something or says something, then I'll do my best to respond right away. If there's a question or anything of that nature, I'll respond. So that's the outcome. I got the little piece of wire wrapped around best as I could. I'm hoping it's gonna stay. I got it on, can't see, got it on both sides. And I got the LED down in there, and I hope it's going to be bright enough to actually light up something. But once you get that kind of put back in, and again, now these little LEDs are going to be polarity. So there's a chance I'm going to put this in the hole the wrong way. And if it does, it's not going to work. So not a big deal. I can just take the little bulb back out and, you know, turn it around in 180 degrees or whatever. Put it back in and see if it will work. So for now, we'll just kind of drop that in there, back in the hole, and get that in there. And I'm gonna have to use something else to lock it with. There we go. We got to lock back in there. That. And then we'll just see if it's going to work. And I now need to do the same thing for the next teeny tiny little bulb. I don't know if these LED bulbs are going to work with something like this, because these are going to have much longer wires. So I don't know how that's going to happen. I may not be able to use these really well unless I somehow solder wires together, get like a little longer piece of wire some way. But we'll have to get there when I get there. But for now, I'll see about getting a little tiny little bulb all out of this one. So I did put up some disco stuff that I did have. I don't have really much of it anymore. I get rid of a lot of it after I got married. And then, but I was at the time I was starting to get more into reel-to-reel tapes. And so I had, I'm going to take a little wire out of this little bulb base here, the same way as the other. And so I was starting to collect from eBay quite a good little collection of different reel-to-reel tapes. And I was really liking the older, beautiful, easy listening music. And so I'll go on eBay and I can get quite a few or a lot of those kinds of reel-to-reel tapes for not a whole lot of money, or not very much money. And I would, and I would have a reel-to-reel tape player from TIAC that I would play them on. I've got the little wires loose on that one from around the base, so just a matter if I can try to work it out of there. At the time I had a TIAC X7R, and I didn't really completely restore it because I didn't know how at the time, but I did have it running and it sounded okay. And I replaced a logic board in it with another one. I don't know if it was rebuilt or just another used one, it's who knows. But anyway, so I did have a TIAC X7R. It was auto reverse. It was a very, very nice tape deck. Worked pretty nice, and it played quite a few tapes, which I probably used to record onto my little flash drive to take with me on over the road on my semi truck. So I was over the road still in my semi truck, and I would eventually, once in a while, see these reel-to-reel tapes from American Airlines. This is getting to be real difficult to pull out of here. It seems like it's, I don't know, wedged in there or melted in there or something. I can't get that out of there real good. There we go. Now I finally got it. It's out of there. So I would buy these reel-to-reel tapes of the beautiful, easy listening music, as well as from American Airlines, because I'd never seen those before, never heard of them, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I would listen to those reel tapes from American Airlines, and I thought, wow, this sounds really pretty cool. And then I would record those tapes on my flash drive to listen to over the road on my semi truck. I wasn't sharing them with anybody else, but at the same time I still had my TIAC reel-to-reel tape deck. I got into other reel-to-reel tapes, like my dad's German music collection that he recorded off of eBay, or eBay, yeah, sure. He recorded off of FM radio, FM stereo in California in the very late 70s, like 1978, 1979, somewhere in there, like probably 78. And that was, it was a Hugo Schneider program, very, very popular radio program back in those days, in the 60s and 70s in California, in San Francisco, San Jose, that kind of thing. And my dad recorded maybe a good 2 or 3 tapes of it, and even a cassette tape. And I would rediscover those old reel-to-reel tapes, and I go ahead and I record them on my, trying to get the little thing out of that base. I record them on my computer, and I might listen to them for a while, but eventually I thought, well, I could put these up on my YouTube channel. I mean, I don't hope, at least I don't guess I would do too much for the copyright claim stuff, although the disco stuff I've been putting up, probably shouldn't be doing that with a screwdriver, I know. I'm having a hard time trying to get the little LED out of there. But I'm still having quite a few copyright stuff going on. So I would go ahead and I put out the Hugo Schneider reel-to-reel tapes, and as well as a few of the other older beautiful, easy listening music tapes that I was buying on eBay. And so I wasn't expecting a lot out of it, because I thought, well, who knows about Hugo Schneider? Probably nobody, and or not many people. So, but I just put it all out there. I made, I don't know, 4 or 5 recordings, 4 or 5 videos, a couple of hours each, of the Hugo Schneider program, and it would get some responses. It would get a good several hundred or couple hundred views on my YouTube channel. So I thought, wow, that kind of took off a little bit better than I thought, and I get a lot of positive comments about it. So, and and subscribers, and I really greatly appreciate those subscribers that would come on. I have to wonder if it's ever gonna come out of there. I can't get that out. Can't seem to get that thing out of there. I don't want to damage it. But, you know, again, those Hugo Snyder program videos I was trying to do weren't all that exciting because there was no, you know, moving video with it, and there's really nothing to show. And I think I lost my little LED bulb. I dropped it on something or somewhere, so I probably just have to get another one and start over again. I'll have to find it a little later. So, you know, again, I was not real good on the video part of things. I would just put up a picture and just hoping there'd just be the music would be, you know, if sufficient. So I just do it that way, and I would come across other reel-to-reel tapes, you know, kind of the same way, of different like other recordings off the radio from California in the late 70s and very early 80s, and I would put those up on my YouTube channel with maybe just a generic picture. It was just kind of all I had or I could use. Found my little, found that. I guess it's still gonna come out of there, but it would be nice so I can try and get it in there. I may have to get some extra light pretty soon so I can see what I'm doing. I wasn't planning on being out here for too long trying to work on digging these things out, these little plastic things. I still don't know if they're glued in or what they did. I don't want to, still don't want to screw it up. But eventually, over time, I thought, well, I really should try to eventually get around to you know, making some actual moving video at some point, because I just didn't figure no one's going to be watching my video for very long if it's just an ordinary still picture. And so eventually I started getting around to you know, seeing about making some actual moving video of something, just to have something different to show. And just want to see if I can do it that way. I may have to get some pliers. I did finally get that one little LED out of there. Looks like it is glued in there. I can see the glue. I'm hoping I didn't damage it either. So that'd be another thing I got to figure out, see if it's going to work. Oh, I didn't screw it up too bad. So I did eventually get around to making some, you know, my videos with some actual moving video with it, just to give something different to show. So I did some practice on that, doing some practice with it, just to see if it would, you know, how I could do it, what would I show, how I go about making an actual moving video on a music thing I was doing. So it took me quite a long time and quite a while to figure it out, and my channel was growing pretty slowly, and really slowly than I thought it might originally. And that might just be because I'm probably showing different things. And like eventually I got around to making my first how-to video, and I got the Sony camera. And so I'd make a how-to video for maybe one of my first actual videos that have a actually moving video with it. And so that, I think one of my how-to videos got something like 11,000 some odd views all on it. That might have been when I was working on my Lincoln Town Car, replacing the stereo. And so that did pretty well. You know, that video of working on my car. I was replacing the bulbs for LED. I was changing out the stereo, and I also did some how-to videos on this car, my wife's Honda, and those also got some pretty decent views on it. So it seemed like everyone's been saying, is the how-to videos really do really well. They take off. So I thought, well, at some point I'll make another how-to video if I got something I was wanting to show that would be people would enjoy it and you know, get some use all out of. And so I try to make some how-to videos when I can, but I can understand I might confuse some of the long-time subscribers, because they probably subscribe just to see some of the older disco videos or some of the music remixes that I did, and I just kind of run out of music remixes, or the ones that I had up there I had to take down because they had copyright strikes all on them. And now if it was just a copyright claim, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because I'm not making any money at all on my channel. The last I checked is I had 675 subscribers, and I've been making videos on my channel since 2013, so it'd be, you know, at least a good 7 plus odd years from when I'm recording this one. And so but I was still just trying to break it up just a little bit, you know, because I didn't want to be stuck solely on one thing too much. Because especially I need to start kind of getting away from the videos that are costing me so I finally got that little LED bulb in there, and I wrap the wires around the little base best I can. So I put that back in this hole. Probably can't see because it's so. Let me get a screwdriver here. I got that one in there, so just a matter of seeing if that's going to work or not. So maybe if I can plug the things in the back there and see if it's going to work. Turn the key on. If not, I'll have to go back around and turn the bulbs around and see if they work again. Plugging these connectors back in to see if these even light up at all. Probably won't, because that's how my luck usually works. We'll see. I think we need to turn the lights on, but we'll see. Oh. You can't see. You still can't see anything, but they are working. Both LEDs are working. I'll bring the camera on over. So they're working. I just hope they're going to be bright enough to light up the little dash panel and those kinds of things. So cool. Feels like to be bright enough. Not every day you get those little LED bulbs in there perfect the first time. I thought for sure I'd take them all back out and turn them around. So that's pretty cool. So let's take that back off. I'll unplug those because we know it's working. And I'll see if there's some way I can try to do the same with the bulbs that went in here, which are these long ones. And I don't know, I'm going to have to be a little bit creative on how I'm going to do that, because there's not going to be near enough wire. So I'll have to work on that for a bit. So what I'll do is I'll turn the camera back on. I get ready to kind of put the LED bulbs together for these, because I think both of these are burned out. I don't remember. I thought this lit up. I used to think this would light up, but I haven't seen it lit up in a long time, and I just kind of figured, well, maybe it don't. I mean, I just thought maybe it's just these little indicators you see on the top that light up and nothing else, but I don't know. They should light up. I have to see if I can get a bulb in there, get that to work. So let me I'll put the turn the camera off for a bit, and I'll see if I can work on doing those other bulbs, and I'll be back in a second. Well, before I let you go, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unplug this. There's just a little tab back here that unplugs it, like that. I guess what I can do is I can start working on the other bulbs while I got the camera on for a few more minutes. But I'm thinking that these are going to take quite a while to figure out and redo, so I may turn the camera off. But it's the same way, you just kind of pull the wire around from the base and just kind of pull it all out of there. And then you got to figure out how you're supposed to get the next one in there where the wire is not going to be near so long enough. It's going to be a lot shorter. But I did eventually get around to making some actual moving videos with my Sony camera. I even took my Sony camera out over the road with me on the truck to make some videos, and I posted those videos up on my YouTube channel, and those, I don't think those really did near so well. And so then I kind of moved on to where I got other big tapes, like 10-inch reel tapes of different stuff like Reeling in the Years, classic rock. And then I did a lot of videos for those, even though they're really short little videos, because due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I'm having to go ahead and just take like a minute or two, or a couple of minutes usually, of a video. I want to see if these little bulbs actually work in this thing. I have to see. I'm kind of curious. I can find the right connector for it. Burned out bulbs. So I'll just unplug that, and I'll take the little bulb back out of there. But what I would do is, because those videos, the music videos I was putting up was violating copyright, and they would get blocked or something else, or maybe the music would get muted, or one thing or the other would happen. And so eventually what I got around to doing was I would just start up an account with an archive site, and open up an account there, and I was putting up a lot of my YouTube videos there, because there's nothing there that's gonna mess up the copyright or block me or mute the audio or something or other else. And what I would do is I would just make a little link on my description for my videos, music videos, especially for all of the American Airline reel-to-reel tapes, and make a link on the description to go click on the link for the archive site, and you can watch the whole video and even download it or record it or whichever you want to do without having anything getting blocked or muted or whatever. I'm looking at this little bulb in the light. I think it's burned out. So I was making videos like that, but like I say, eventually at some point I still want to get away from the from all of the copyright claim stuff. I need to get on to making my own kind of content at some point with a camera. But other than how-to videos, I'm gonna take this other little LED bulb out of here, out of this new one. It's probably glued in there the same way. I have to pry it out of there. I don't have a whole lot of, or many how-to videos to show. So I'm kind of stuck on, well, what do I put out there? What do I show? And so since I got my Harley Davidson sitting over there since October, I thought, well, maybe I can have to use something to try and get this little LED bulb out of here. I need to get some pliers. So probably what I should do. I thought, well, maybe I can make some videos with my Harley bike, you know, but that my Sony Handycam isn't really made for you know, making videos like that. It's not really designed for a mobile kind of thing. And so this didn't work. I need to get some actual pliers. So I may go in there and go get that. So at some point I do want to make some videos of my Harley bike, but I don't have the money. I need to get like an actual GoPro 5 at the very least, or you know, a real good decent GoPro camera, and I just don't have the money to, even for a used camera or something like that, have it mounted on the side of my helmet and make it work. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see if there's a way I can get this LED out of there. Try to solder a little extended piece of little wire to it some way or other, if at all possible, and see if I can make this make it work with the other taller base like this, and see what happens. So I'll okay, back again. So I was working through some different options, ideas, and I thought about extending those tiny little wires by soldering some other wires together. I don't think that's going to work too good. So what I did do was I took this long piece and I cut it in half with my Dremel tool. So now it looks like that. And the wires do protrude from the bottom. I believe they're long enough to wrap around the bottom. If not, then I can always just trim just a bit more off the top there. But so at the very least, this will work, and these are going to be bright enough. They should be bright enough to still light up what they need to light up back behind there. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one and see how they fit together and see if they work. So that's going to take a little while. I don't want to bore you as I'm trying to, you know, cut this down and all of that stuff. So I'll work on that for a little while, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we got everything working. I had this defroster that was not lighting up, so I had to take it all back apart, turn the bulb around, put it back in, and it's lighting up. So everything's working, everything's lighting up and bright. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Hope more of you will subscribe to my channel and press the bell so you can get notifications when I get another video posted up. So until the next how-to or the next video comes up, or the next American Airlines video of reel-to-reel tapes come on up, I'll see you then, and thank you for watching.